ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, Betway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew Leaf, MSI, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Shazam might have been late to join the server, not by much, but he definitely showed up in a big way for here for OpTic, I should say. As well as Cajun B, I should say.
Yeah.
Two totally different dominations there. What can I say? The hours now are kind of running together, guys. I'm a little tired, and that's just the way it goes.
And with a performance like that, somewhat unexpected, I'd say, from OpTic, it does leave you speechless.
Yes, that would be the words. Or just fumbling all of the words in my mouth at one time. But nonetheless, a good showing here by OpTic on Train. Guys, talk to me a little bit about what we saw.
Again, we saw you know when you started off, week 1, Luminosity versus Renegades on Cash. We built Luminosity up. We figured that, they're gradually improving every single season, expecting more of the same. Then we saw a terrible Cash game where they should have beaten Renegades, ended up losing in overtime. And it's 100% off of the back of their own mistakes. Didn't go to overtime this time around, but I feel pretty confident in saying that Luminosity would have had a very good chance at, well, if not winning the game, at least being extremely competitive if they hadn't just completely messed up for themselves time after time again.
There's a term that has something to do with the bed. I don't know. It's like, yeah, we'll get to that one later. Either way, yeah, rough showing here for Luminosity. We can take a look at the head-to-head, though, because these numbers are not going to deceive you. These numbers are exactly as you might read them. Now, if you look over toward the Luminosity side, you're going to see Pickle sitting at a 20 and 18. But really, I don't know, everybody's around the same sort of threshold, whereas if you switch over to OpTic, you've got Cajun B and Shazam having put in work. You're not going to see a massive KD here, but definitely had an impact in this match as well.
Like the 90 ADR is a quite high ADR, so he definitely had an impact in the game.
Way above average, yeah.
Yeah, way above average. And same goes for the rest of the OpTic guys. You mentioned it in Cajun and Shazam, definitely putting in work. Talked about it in the pregame. Shazam have been in a little bit of a struggle in this OpTic lineup, but finally seem to have found, at least in this game, some good stuff. Config, always finding a way to be impactful. It's not always he drops 47 frags in 30 rounds. It happens occasionally, apparently. Yeah. But he always managed to be very impactful in and for his team. So pretty much, an OpTic team, I would say, I do agree with you. Luminosity making a lot of mistakes, and it is one of those teams I do feel has one of them
this is showcased. One of the prime. Yeah, this is.
You're not happy about that one.
5v3 situation. You've planted the bomb, and what do? You give Cajun to just gift wrap frags, which again, like Jason was talking about it while the round's going on. It's just like, they're probably not going to go for this. And then 2 seconds later, they've just been given 2 frags. It was like, well, they're going for it now. Yeah. Ends up winning, and obviously that starts a bit of a run from OpTic.
That's one of the problems for Luminosity. I feel those are one of the teams that could really benefit from having a great coach for them, because I feel we see a lot of potential. I don't know the coach now, to be completely honest with you. I don't know how good he is and what he does for the team. I believe they have a coach. I saw him in Odin's. I don't know how much he actually do for them. But anyway, having a great coach, that can inspire your team to eliminate those mistakes, because it must be frustrating for those guys to live here in America, invest their entire life into Counter-Strike, and showing such great potential as they did in Odin's, but still, falling short when it really matters. And
off the back of silly mistakes.
Off the back of silly mistakes. This is their Champions League. We talked about it when we went into the season. Luminosity are playing and breathing and living for this league. That is the one they play in, and that is the one that means everything for them. Qualifying for the finals would mean everything for them as well. So if they don't do that, that will be a huge disappointment, especially with the talent they have on the team. So they gotta eliminate those mistakes, and they gotta consistently show up more to the level that we know they can be at, as we saw in Odin's and as we've seen before.
Well, even further than that, we could talk a little bit about the woes there on the first half from Luminosity. It seemed like it took them a good 9-10 rounds to even get an understanding of how to play an offense against the CT side here of OpTic. Nonetheless, though, it wouldn't matter. The story is told, and OpTic do win Train, which leaves us to go on to Inferno yet again tonight. A third map of Inferno. Are you guys
to see Inferno?
You're happy? You're excited?
Yeah, Inferno's a good map, man. I don't actually get tired of Inferno. I think it's
hate
pretty.
Inferno.
I hate Cash with a passion.
We hate you.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to be the lightning rod. To have this dysfunctional group of people working.
Okay, how
I'm willing to take. Yeah, I'm willing to take that hit. No, I'm actually pretty excited to see Inferno. I think it's still like a not necessarily figured out map. I think that's part of the interesting part of it. You haven't. Well, we've yet to see really a top team just dominate on that map. Everyone's just shaky. which again doesn't necessarily lead to the prettiest Counter-Strike, but it does lead to some exciting games, and I think that's kind of what I'm after at this point.
That's what you're after.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you two are looking for, but you know, you're definitely looking in the wrong place.
I'm just looking at Trace right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank
okay,
you.
so that's okay. Well, then
Something
that does
pleasant.
explain.
Do you just omit what's in between us, and then there you have it.
Try to forget
Things
it.
aren't too bad. Yes, it will be Inferno, and I do think you do have an interesting point there. By the way, we are waiting on Stanislaw. That is the player that we're waiting on to get this bad boy underway. I think you have an interesting point, kind of derailing from the pre-match, of course. When you think about the learning curve that just seemingly doesn't exist anymore within the game, I feel like this game thrives when there's people learning actively, inventing new ways and getting creative on maps. It's just not something that you always see much anymore. People could talk about this, that, and the other, saturation, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, when people were learning about this game every single time they joined, it's just a different ticket altogether.
Yeah, and I guess it's the beauty and also the downside of having a game that's, you know, in essence 20 years old, right? It doesn't make it easy to continuously be I guess reinvented in that sense. Like some mechanics are just going to remain the same if it's true to Counter-Strike from the initial versions and so on, and that's where we get most of the innovation through obviously new maps these days.
Yes.
In terms of just changing game engines, not going to happen, you know, anytime soon. You'd imagine.
Tuscan.
Yeah, they got, you know, several big fan favorites in terms of maps that still haven't seen the daylight, I guess, in competitive CS yet. But you know, with the, I guess, constant changes that Valve are making to the current maps, then, you know, there's still something to learn. I think that's cool.
So you're saying there's a chance, Halvor.
There's always a chance.
But
Always.
Is there a chance for Luminosity going into Inferno?
There's definitely a chance. I do feel Inferno is a fine playground for both teams. I do feel OpTic have shown us once before in this league that they're okay on Inferno and they can play the map. If you look at the players and the player profiles, you have Config playing the banana bomb side or playing around banana, and he's very aggressive and he's very good at being aggressive. He's always a constant annoyance, and so goes for Shazam. We talked about Inferno being one of the maps where the AVP is not always coming into good use, but he's one of the few players that managed to utilize it pretty much every single time he plays Inferno, which makes him quite unique in that sense. That goes in with Stanislaw as well, a great Inferno player. Now also the in-game leader for OpTic. Had the honor to play with him in Liquid, and one of the only maps that I feel he was really comfortable calling on was Inferno. He had a lot of great ideas and a lot of great plays that he liked to you know, surround himself with, you know, so he's sort of like the center of the place, and I look forward to see that if that's still the style he's running with OpTic when he has such good players as Config and Cajun besides him. You know, he had a leash to work with back when I was playing with him in Liquid.
Not bad either. You weren't half bad yourself.
I wasn't half bad myself.
Yeah.
I was like, there you go, you can be nice too.
Yeah, no, every now and again.
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of style like he offers into this game, and I do believe OpTic are the favorites, especially after watching the first map, but it's going to be closer than we saw in Train, I feel.
Yeah, I'm leaning the same way, and like OpTic feels like favorites going into this. I thought Luminosity had their chances on Train. Kind of gave it away in the pre-games that we had before that match. That Luminosity has a limited map pool, and even though OpTic are no giants in that sense themselves, I do think they have just better individuals overall to cope with that on Inferno.
Better individual players. We don't want to talk bad about them, Halvor. What we try to tell you not to do.
They're just better.
We
I mean,
asked him
you know,
very politely, very kindly.
You know,
don't do that.
Luminosity great, OpTic just a little bit better. Still positive.
Well, let's check in with Harriet and Jason.
Do we really have to do that?
Yeah, we do. We actually have to. Let's see what Harold has to say about this last map tonight on Inferno between OpTic Gaming and Luminosity. Give me your best analysis.
Big wallers.
It's going to be great. Can't wait. Luminosity, they're the victors. Let's go.
Wow.
Nailed it.
Yeah,
I like it.
I've been learning from the best. These two over here. You know, been taking notes. So
Taking notes.
They
Going
talk a lot of trash about
exactly
you.
opposite
I
of
know
what
they
we
do.
did.
You know, Halvor just says it directly to my face, at least, which I can admire. Whereas Pip's
like
nice
he's-
and sneaky about it.
Take it away, Jason.
Well, Harry, you're writing checks. Your body can't cash here.
Oh yeah, well, it's all good.
Luminosity versus OpTic Gaming. Map 1 goes to OpTic. See how Inferno goes. Just to recap as well, it's basically one of those must-win games for Luminosity. Not in terms of being eliminated from playoff contention, but you know, losing both of these maps tonight would make things very risky down the stretch. As SK, as you said, they haven't lost a game of Counter-Strike, an online game of Counter-Strike since the opening day of this new roster. They've been undefeated, so they're making a very late bid for playoff spot. And that playoff spot that they would take away from someone is Luminosity. So scary times.
Yeah, sadly, either way, there's the potential for a Brazilian team to be the ones that end up getting hurt by this, right? You know, whether it's kind of the up-and-comers in the form of Luminosity or the old gods in the form of SK. But yeah, I mean, I think that whole topic's pretty interesting. I love how theatric SK have been about it. Wait until literally the last 3 weeks to decide to start to just win everything. But this pistol round's already well and truly underway. And OpTic, they're up banana. And well, now they're not moving much. They've slowed right down. They took control early on. They've tagged down Neckers. They forced him back into the bomb site. There's 3 players here for Luminosity. And it looks like OpTic might just go for this. They'll hang up the smoke down into CT. One looks like it's going to land over towards Coffins as well. And now they look to push on the back of this. They've now tagged up Showtime. And there's just so much damage being painted across this Luminosity roster. Their aim has to be true. Well, right now, couldn't be looking worse for them. Oh my goodness, this is a slaughter in this B-bomb site.
Yeah, I mean, this is, ooh, right through the smoke. That's the bomb planter down, but still a 3-on-1. Yell has a chance here. Ooh, there's a nice shot. Didn't even see it coming, and Gade is waiting patiently for Cajun to rotate over. This is doable for Yell. He's got a smoke and a kit, and those USPs can be so dangerous, and somehow Cajun has to work up the nerve to get the bomb. Gade's out in the open, and that's the fight that Yell wants to take, and they're going to book it back to the B-bomb site. They've gotten away. Yell's got to be cautious. He can't just throw it to the wind and run over towards A. He's got to be very careful as he exits, so that's going to give OpTic the time they need to get this bomb planted at default, and there should be nothing Yell can do to stop it. Smart play from Gade as well, not coming up mid, going into the halls immediately, and Yell's just going to keep this kit in his hands for the next round. And smoke, for that matter.
Yeah, I think he thought it was B. Because now he's going back to A, and he was checking the site a lot. I don't know if he really has the time to go for this, Jason. Maybe he'll make me eat my words. Maybe you won't. Maybe I'll remain word-free. I guess. Here's Yell. He's missed that smoke. He's just going to take the fight with Gade. You kind of admire the persistence on him there. But the round's going to go the OpTic. Going to go the way of OpTic anyway. Really nailed that one.
I mean, it's so tough for OpTic to really, or not for OpTic, Luminosity, when they get 2 players goosed, you have a stack towards this B bomb site, which is lovely. It's obviously the right call. OpTic went right at him, but the problem is they just lost so much HP early on. That can be so tough to deal with. 2 AKs, 3 UMPs. Now swinging out a little bit wide, brought down low. Still has a smoke that he can use to delay. And that's kind of the name of the game for Luminosity, is hold on to these smokes as much as possible and put them down when OpTic starts pressuring, but they're going to miss the timings here. You can see OpTic, if they're already starting to pressure at this, ooh, that's a great find from Neckers. No one to cover Shazam's opposite side. Cajun's going to come out jumping. Can't even find PKL. All of a sudden, Luminosity has a chance, but Gade has going to turn it back in their favor, and Config already in pit is going to hold on. Scary times for OpTic in the round, but they sustain very nicely. They recover.
Yeah, I mean, that round for me showcases one thing I do love about CS, and that is how you really feel the impact of like a Deagle headshot. It always like looks amazing, feels amazing. When you play, it even kind of makes you jump a bit, you know? And no other games like that, Jason. You know, no other game gets me as into the action. You have Call of Duty, it's like, ugh, just sounds like you've massaged their scalp with a headshot. Don't even talk about the other games. But OpTic going to be in with the second. You also didn't hear it, but there's a fun new thing with the replays. So we had the reverse replay, Jason. You didn't have your headphones on. I wish you did, because now we have like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, imagine if you and I were casting this over a radio, but we were ghosts. It's a very, very odd description, but that's probably as best as I... It is a very weird
description. It's all right.
You know, just imagine that, like a ghost on a radio casting CS. That's probably going to be the world in 70 years' time.
Well, the MAC-10s, can they do any work? USP gets a victim early, but there's just too much firepower, and OpTic is just relentless. You even saw it on Train as well. They really enjoy pressing the issue. Yell here, trying to make a stand. It's not going to happen. Quick 3-0. No op is going to be out for Luminosity unless PKL wants to drop it over. There wouldn't be any armor, though, and Yell's actually really, really hurting. Gonna have to go down to a FAMAS with armor. No kits, light utility, only 4 smokes to work with. 2 players without head armor, which is dangerous against that MAC-10 and the UMP on Stanislaw. OpTic actually had a pretty good T-side on Train, so let's see what they can bring to bear here on Inferno. Can sometimes be equally frustrating of an offense.
Yeah, most definitely can. And this first buy for Luminosity, I feel like it's quite an important one. They need to hit the ground running. They really do. I think they're a team where the majority of them play so much better when they have things going their way and when they've started to build up some momentum. And I feel like it's when they start to fall behind, they're not very resurgent in that sense. PKL going to go to smoke off balcony. He's holding close. He had a very good performance last game. And he's normally not the man we talk about on Luminosity to have like these standout performances, but he looked very, very good.
You know who it was at the beginning of the season as well? It was pretty quiet last game. I remember Nekaz, when we started the season, had a really great opening week or two, and then he's kind of, I mean, he's obviously, it's not easy to keep that kind of a track record up. Good kill from Nekaz, just as I say his name, though. Double kill for him, and Yell's now in the bomb site with the FAMAS. Going to get a dink on a Cajun as well, but Shazam finally clears him out. Cajun needs to trade over to an AK as soon as possible, and he does just that. He's also got the bomb, which means Shazam has to stay in the bomb site, jumping through the opening. Kill the transfer over. That's huge. Cajun had no HP to take a fight. Big round from Shazam. Luminosity coming through the smoke, trying to catch him in a 2-on-1.
And I said they needed to hit the ground running. Luminosity, they've hit the ground, but the sentence just ends there. It's 4-0 start for OpTic. Luminosity have somewhat grinded to a halt here on their CT side. They've had to go for the Deagle and CZ buy. And what is it? That's a nice shot from Yell. You really hoped he was going to get a couple more. Kind of felt like that was the sequence of events that could have kickstarted something for Luminosity. Now Nekaz is waiting. There's no gap in this smoke, but he's just hiding in it. He's hiding away. He's going to go ahead and emerge, and while they have Stan keeping an eye on things. Config. Oh, that's like... That makes you physically tense. Now Config's going to find Showtime. That's not what you want. That is not what Luminosity want. And it's just people dying in smokes this round.
Look at Config just jumping around on the hunt. He's going to find someone. Not sure that was the ideal scenario. And Stanislaw is just going to rotate over to position to take the next fight. Nothing PKL can do. No weapons to salvage. He's going to book it. It's going to be 5-0, and you'd hope now that the AWP will be out for Luminosity. Hope that they'd have a little bit more nades to work with, and we'll see what kind of defense they can mount. UMP on the ground would be cool. The smoke is even better. As PKL just tries to survive. Now's the time for Luminosity. This sixth round coming up for them to get started. It's going to be huge. If they can't start stringing them together at that point, this half could get away from them very quickly.
Well, yeah, we only saw them get one round on their CT side of Train. Peak Alley we get out at the end now. I mean, admittedly only had the UMP, so it didn't make too much of a difference. They can afford to buy up anyway. They've got the AWP, double AWP, actually. Showtime and Yell picking those up. And Showtime yet to find a kill in this, along with Cello. So I'm curious where these AWPs are gonna head. Because Yell's been playing over towards A. He's gonna stick there with his AWP. Showtime takes his to the B-bomb site. And I'm curious, do we see some aggression from Yell here? He did definitely have the spawn for it. He's gonna go peeking in. Actually, he's all the way up into apartments, but that Molotov forces him back, and that's devastating. Actually, he's just gone straight through it. No one here, sadly, but he gets the information at least, and he could look to progress even further forward. Showtime still holding off Banana. That's Cello here inside of this side. Now, these two players, both of these guys in B, yet to find kills. It looks like they're going to finally be granted that opportunity. Here's OpTic stack 4 players up on Banana. I mean, it's not only a chance for them to get kills on their stats, but it's an important round now for Luminosity, as you've been detailing quite a lot. The push about to come through. Cello and Showtime. Oh, that is a fantastic shot from Config. Cello, can he follow? Oh, no! Config's going to double down, and that's a disaster inside of B. How on earth do you deal with that when Config waltzes in the sight and just takes heads off?
That's so nasty. That is so disgusting. And no one from the other 3 players didn't even budge a muscle. They just stayed in these halls, and they're like, well, we can't do anything. Good kill from Yell to keep hold of that AWP. There's plenty of money on the OpTic side. We might see more of a chase. Shazam, that's the AWP. That would be great to get that kill. Somehow he wasn't able to do it. Yell at 6 HP. Molotov going to force him back. And they are on the hunt now. Shazam wrapping around the flames. I don't think Yell can hear this quite yet. He's just now turned. Good kill. Couldn't miss it. Nekiz is the next one up, and now OpTic has just lost way too many weapons. They're going to lose more. 4 players go down. That is a lot of cash taken away for OpTic, especially to yield no results. The op's still in the hands of Yell, and they can actually, because they didn't get a chance to use any of their utility as well, they can actually drop M4s over and have another, like, basically perfect buy. But admire these shots from Config. This is beautiful. Even spotting Cello just before the smoke plumes.
See, I don't get that. I didn't even see him in the replay. I had to be honest with you there, Jason. Did you actually see that shot from Config? Like, did you see Cello?
I did.
I did not. So that just goes to show you that some of this is just natural. Of course, Jason, you were once a professional player yourself, so it makes sense. You've got the eye of the tiger. Here's Showtime. Ooh, that's 2 quick kills from him. Actually, it's Cello to go ahead and get 2.
That is so awkward. I don't know why OpTic just felt like they needed to do that. Jumping through the smokes. 1.5 minutes left on the clock. They need to build upon this 1 kill. They need to get some more frags. Keep the money low. Don't let Luminosity build into it. Just 2 more kills. Yell's here with the op, and that's going to be an easy one. Shazam with the dry peek. Cajun's up next, making some footsteps, and he's really got nowhere to go. They know exactly where he is, so you can start to see on the minimap, PKL, Nekiz, they're starting to push down alt mid, starting to peer down main, or peer down mid, just to keep him boxed in, to make sure he can't fall away. Cajun would love to find this frag, but he's got PKL coming behind him. It's only a matter of time, and he goes down first, or excuse me, that is first round on the board for Luminosity, 1-6. That's a big win with so many players surviving.
Yeah, that's massive. Now they dodge the reset coming through, which, as we saw, you know, over on train, it plays such a big impact for these CT sides. So they're pretty happy with the outcome of that round. Keeping 4 players alive. Yell's on $6,000. Everyone else combined in the next round as well. And for OpTic, going to be fast play up towards the top of mid. That Molotov goes down and does make them change their mind. Yell goes peeking into it, perhaps. Gets a bit too big for his boots. And, well, Config's able to find the opener onto Nekiz, and they've tagged Yell up as well. So now they've put a lot of pressure over towards the top mid. PKL had to rotate around, and that leaves apartments open for the time being. You see they've had to pull Showtime off from the B-bomb site. Now it's just Cello who stood here alone. That is a very, very good start for OpTic, and a very sloppy one from Luminosity.
Returning the favor, it would appear. Nade gonna force Cello back. Yell, I think he missed Stanislaw, so there's some timing for you. Flashbang in. That's going to be from OpTic to allow him to get up safely. Here's an off angle, though, and he gets the kill. They need to find that Gade. He gets aggressive behind the frag. Trades it off. Now he's going to come up. He's got Stanislaw at the end of halls as well. They can try and double up some aggression of peering into the bomb site. Utility being thrown over. Shazam waiting for the response, but nothing coming out. Spam through the smoke is right over the head, and PKL, if he pushes this aggressively enough, he could have found a timing, but he's not going to be able to do it. Showtime's in the rotate back, but he's got an op, so through the smoke, and there's one for PKL. Stanislaw had a nade in his hands. Cello's got to hold on. He's only got the M4 off angle in the fountain. Are they going to clear it? No, not entirely. They line up for him. Good trade from Gade. They need to put the smoke down, but they don't have one. Flashbang wasn't out either, and all of a sudden, OpTic, they looked great in this round. They had so many options, and now Gade's just got to hope this spam miss, and actually Showtime's just going to push up right around it. Prevent the plant from coming in a second is on the board for LG.
Now OpTic, they've still got plenty of money up on Shazam and Cajun. Config by himself, they can both drop weapons over, so a buy will come in here for OpTic on this T side, but it's their last one. Reset is looming over them. They managed to get the AWP up on Shazam as well, so it's a good buy for OpTic into round number 9. And that's a very good start. Shazam's able to open up. Yell goes ahead, tries to take the early fight, and Shazam emerges victorious. Config's already got up past this smoke. And Cello and Showtime, they've had a pretty difficult time at trying to tame Config. Many men who have tried have felt the same sort of fate. This time they managed to do it. Config goes down. He forced out by the Molotov into their waiting Moors, and Just like that, back into a 4-on-4 we go.
There's a nice pick off from Nekis. Now the ops are starting to come alive for Luminosity. Transfers it over to the low HP player, and OpTic, their aggression, their confidence, their trading has all been tempered in these last few rounds, getting beat up as they attack the bomb sites. There's a window of opportunity here for them to strike the B bomb site, and if they can get there quick enough, they'll actually beat Showtime on the rotate. They do have smokes this time, so they could block off towards CT spawn. That smoke just went up around 47, 48, so it's going to clear just to the low 30s, and Showtime's on his way back now, so they've missed that opportunity. Couldn't have known it was there, obviously. Key for Showtime is going to be getting to a position where you're not going to get blocked off by smoke, but one's going to be towards coffins as well. This is initially going to be all on Cello. If he has enough success, Showtime can come through the smoke. Actually, he's going to come through anyways. Finds the kill. Now Cello peeks out, dinks Stanislaw, but both frags go the way of OpTic. So they have a 2-on-2 and plenty of time to get in good positions for the post plant.
Yeah, rotation coming in. PKL up, Banana, Neck is down in CT. KGB's holding the angle. But if he loses this duel, it all falls onto Stan, who's tagged down very, very low. Stan watching the push out from Banana. Neck is going to be spotted by Cajun. Time ticking low, and that Molotov is perfect. It forces Cajun out of the opening. He has to try and take these fights, and PKL doubles down. Once again, a big play from him. Defuse going to come on through, and Luminosity, they're onto a third. They don't want to give this up. They're not prepared to lose around like that. Buy comes in from them in the next. PKL and 10 grand. He's feeling great. He can go to drop a gun over to Cello. For OpTic, the bomb plant does mean they could go for a partial buy here and then get a full one up into the next. Some nice shots from PKL. He's looked very, very good in these last couple of games.
Yeah, Cajun has no options. Once his teammate goes down and the Molotov is at his feet, he's just got to stand out in the open and just get taken down. So that's a bit unfortunate, but it is a nice retake from Luminosity. And even keeping the double ops alive. They haven't had to rebuy those a whole lot. B-Rush coming in. Flashbangs are very, very good with the Molotov for Luminosity is even better. Right in the choke point, stops them from progressing. There's no way forward for the attack, so they must retreat. No one flanking from Luminosity either, so there's no one that can easily catch out. Yell's going to have the information. The op on the left side of mid. Early warning system, and even a frag. He's going to go back for more, and he gets it. Eventually traded off, but they should be able to recover that quite nicely, especially because they get caught on the cross config down low. And again, they feel like they can't move forward towards the bomb site. The bomb is dropped in brackets. Nothing left to do but attack. And Luminosity is waiting. One to the immediate left. Cello waiting to pounce. Here's the peek. There's the kill from Gade, but he can't do more, and config stuck between a rock and a hard place. He's going to go down.
Luminosity, they're going to be feeling very, very confident about this. They've won the last 4 rounds consecutively. Now we start to see OpTic kind of slow down. And one thing I said is how Luminosity, when they start to get the momentum behind them, when they start building into it, you start to see their key players, really starting to come into their own. And that's definitely going to be worth its weight in gold at helping them here. Now Shazam, he tries to go aggressive, but he's not ready at all for Neckers, who beats him to the punchline and is already down mid. That's the man advantage found for Luminosity. And they'll take that all day long. Now, Gade's been boosted up into apartments. He's going to go hunting for the equalizer, but you don't imagine one's going to get given away easily. KGB's watching for any aggression down through Banana. It looks like we have the boost up on the half wall. Yell's about to be tested, though. 4 players potentially going to be coming his way. You imagine smoke goes down by his feet to go ahead and block him off. He answers back with an incendiary, and that's going to buy them precious time.
1 minute left. Crossfire and Pit in the bomb site. And now Yell able to swivel between alternate and lane with the AWP. And even with Cello on the rotate now, he can commit himself inside the bomb site. All the benefits of having the second op Showtime at top Banana. Cello wants to get aggressive. Got to be careful about turning that corner. Config and Gade waiting to explode right through it. Just past the 36-second mark. This hit is going to be so strange. It could get stopped. They need to be very coordinated. 2 players coming from Rap. Config just toying. He wants to hunt down Cello. This is buying precious time, though. Cello's down low, 7 HP. Does eventually get the kill, and Cajun's got one as well. And right when Nekis turns around, somehow this hit has worked perfectly for OpTic. Both sides working in tandem to get all the frags. Showtime's going to live with this AWP. They shouldn't chase him down. They don't have the money to waste. That is a brilliant strike from OpTic, constricting upon that A-bomb site.
And it couldn't come at a worse time for Luminosity. I mean, see them face a couple of casualties in these last few rounds. The money, which was once looking very, very good, is now kind of started to run dry. Now, Showtime, if he survives, they can definitely go for a buy in this next round. I mean, you already have PKL can buy as well. Showtime can then drop a gun over to Nekis and Cello. So they'll have a buy together, and it'll be a pretty good one at that, but it will be on the edge of a reset, and that's a very, very scary place to be at this point in the game. Decides whether or not Luminosity can make this a very, very close first half or a very, very one-sided one in favor of OpTic. This is very much one of those pivotal moments in the match. Double op setup going to be brought out here for Luminosity.
They've had the luxury as well of being able to salvage that second op a number of times, right? So now that they actually have to buy it, you can see it kind of... they've taken some losses, but investing in this double op setup, this has ground their economy down to essentially nothing. $250 between the 5 of them left after this purchase. So yeah, huge round. This could actually end up being, you know, the difference between a 10-5, 11-4 half in the favor of OpTic. And the good news is at least that expensive weaponry is yielding results. Yell with an opening kill. Going to be able to fall back safely as well.
And no answer back from OpTic just yet. Shazam creeping on out over in the top of mid. Lining up the Soxa flashes to try and go for this. And we saw the A-bomb site work for them in the previous round. Can they find success here once again? This time they're going into it a man down. It's going to be a 4-on-3 inside this bomb site. Yell starts to fall back, but he could get caught off guard if Shazam goes through. Stands already up close on short, and Config able to get one more. Suddenly Yell left to fend for himself. His teammates have been eliminated. Shazam going to go ahead and do that much more damage. Now it's Yell still sticking around, 21 HP. Surely can't find anything.
He's dead.
Made Sam only does 5 damage, but Cajun B is not content.
All right. Just banging him out. Cajun with the swing wide. Yeah, I mean, the style of OpTic is this, like, once they go, they just attack very, very fast, very aggressively. Is exactly what you need to kind of counteract the ops. Once you throw the smokes and you hit the execute, you need to get in their face quickly. You need to prevent that op from finding a second shot, a second kill. And they've finally done it. They've broken the economy, going to get up towards 9-4, and even then, Luminosity won't be able to yield a strong buy, any kind of resistance. So Luminosity in danger of having just a disaster of a half on this CT side. Ooh, this push from Yell. Right at the bench, and no one spotted it from alt mid. There's 2 players who have gotten up in towards Hall, so Shazam is going to think this is clear. And if he pushes forward, Yell gets the kill, he gets an AWP, and he gets the bomb. But actually, I think Cajun is about to see it just now as he peeks out of balcony and jumps down. Any moment. There's the push, and oh my god, Yell. He missed his opportunity somehow. Ooh, you hate to see it. Neck is nothing left to do. Gonna get the AK-47, but where can he go from here?
Oh, you see it all around him. Danger lurks. Stan gonna go to get rid of him. 9-4 up for OpTic. And Luminosity now having to buy down. If they lose this, they're forced buying in the last round of the half. And at that point, you'd imagine 11-4 is very, very possible for OpTic. So, with that said, this round becomes an important one. 6-9 suddenly. You know, it's not a good half, but it's definitely, you know, you have that much more room to work with. This is a big one for Luminosity. Unfortunately for them, OpTic have been allowed to build up a very, very big economy. So even a win here doesn't mean that a buy can't come in into the next round.
Tough part is it seems like a lot of the success they had, you know, to get their 4 rounds was predicated on the AWPs, right? The double op, even just Yell with 1 AWP when they could manage it. A lot of opening kills coming from that weaponry, and they don't have any of that. Regardless, they found phenomenal damage on the Config down to 46. Cajun is down to 15. So they found some ways to get things done, but Nonetheless, going to be a tough round, and Yell, he's going to take the opportunity to push down mid. He's got to be careful about giving away any noise. Very similar to last round, except this time he's just going to keep pushing. They're going to wrap around. Cajun has no idea it's coming. Gade is able to manage one frag, and there's the bomb. Shazam's going to turn here, but they realize what's happened.
Yeah, Yell's had to go ahead and try and sneak away. He's been able to get one. Keeps things in the advantage of Luminosity. And this is so scary to try and deal with. Now Showtime's going to go aggressive down Banana. They're just pincering in. They're restricting where OpTic can go to, but Gade, he's found the man that was behind enemy lines. He found the thorn in their side, the one that was causing them all these problems. Now there's only one player inside of this A bomb site, and that's Neckers. He's been having a good performance recently. We need him to step up now more than ever, and he's going to fall at the first hurdle. Suddenly it's Showtime and Cello, 2-on-3. In a round that was looking good for Luminosity, it's all been stripped away from them here. Bomb down. Showtime in the smoke. Cello wrapping around short, in danger of being caught off guard by Stanislaw. He's going to skirt on by him for now. That opens up this duel inside the site to be a 2-on-2. Cello clearing pit. Showtime's going to be discovered and dealt with. Now it's Cello 1 versus 2, and Stan can very, very quickly end this round on this flank through the short angle. But it's Gade to go ahead and finish things off. 10-4. And now there is no money for Luminosity looking to the future. They have to force buy in the last round of the half. And I mean, this has been a devastating CT side from them.
They have lost a couple rounds where they've had the opening kill. A couple 5-on-4s, maybe even 3 of them throughout this half that I've noticed. Which is going to be tough for them to re-watch on the demo afterwards if they want to figure out what went wrong. They're going to be wondering how they were able to kind of blow those leads. Either way, this is the situation they find themselves in. Forced buy. 3 CZs, UMP. Config's got the daddy weapon. Gonna try and powder some bottoms over here towards Banana. Cello might be his first victim, but no! Sit down. The read of the situation from the CZ, and it is so fitting that after a long time of OpTic just stringing rounds together, it's a double kill from a CZ pushing down Banana that might yield them their first round in some time. Give them that 5th of the half.
Yeah, they've done well to start to recover a little bit. The bomb's still down on Banana, but crucially, Stan was able to get out of danger just moments ago. So it's him and Shazam to try and secure an 11th round for OpTic. Stan creeping up Banana, Cello, and PKL are there. They're going to be boosting PKL up over the half wall, but Stan peeks into it. PKL able to discover him, and now it's Shazam 1 versus 3, and all 3 players grouped up on Banana. 2 in by logs, and he doesn't have anything to flush them out with. He's going to go and smoke off Neckers, but the peek comes out from PKL. This round's over and done, and Luminosity, they somehow find a 5th at the very end of the half on the back of a 4 spy. They're going to be happy with that. But still, 5-10. The overall theme of the half is that Luminosity are going to be a bit disappointed with that, I think. Moving into this second half, their T side has to be picture perfect if they want to recover from this one. And, I mean, it's like, whatever happens, it's not that bad if you're a fan of Brazilian CS as a whole, I guess. Because I think the way that SK kind of get afforded a potential way back into the finals is if Luminosity lose both of these games.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't far behind at the start of the day. I think they're only... I know Luminosity has 2 more games played than SK, so might have just been the difference of SK being up by 1 win. If Luminosity is to drop both of these. So we'll be interesting to see the standings after that. But, I mean, either way, it's going to be a tie race down the stretch, as it always is in North America, for whatever reason, despite it being, you know, the quote-unquote weaker region. There's always, like, this late end of the season jockeying for a position, like those last, like, 2 to 3 playoff spots are always up for grabs. Makes it pretty exciting. And ooh. Showtime with the immediate headshot on the gate, and this is interesting. Shazam is the only one at this bomb site, and actually, OpTic hasn't rotated anyone just yet. Just now, Stanislaw is on his way. But if you're OpTic, the question becomes, how do you recover? And I think the only answer is the one that they're doing. I like this from Shazam. Going to go peeking for information. He spots one. Cello's going to come out on top, but he missed that. Actually, they've both missed each other. Neither of them saw one another, so Stanislaw's going to be back towards the B bomb site. One flashbang on config, going to be a fast flank from Shazam. All the cards are in place for OpTic Gaming. The pieces are set. Here we go. Smoke towards CT spawn. There's a boost that will kind of neutralize that smoke, but not anymore. Yell, the jumping burst fire, but Config, CZ, 3 quick kills, and Stanislaw as well. Adds 1 on top, and Yell, even with his stellar performance, how much more can he hope to get done? And not enough. An incredible shot, but an even better sequence from Config. Well, I'm sure we'll see that on the replay. Hopefully, forwards. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Just tapping away.
That's unreal. You even see Yell. He's gone through the smoke, and he's relying on the rest of the team just to punch in the numbers, get the bomb down, secure that round. And obviously, you know, by the time he gets through the smoke, everyone's dead. All of his teammates dead inside the site. But this now looks to be a pretty dire situation for Luminosity. They would love to find this force buy, but oh, look at all this damage the utility's done. The sprays in through the bottom of mid. Shazam is able to escape as well. He's on 7 HP. He was kind of the only potential way for Cello into this site. Gade's now posted up. This is the dream with the UMP. This many low HP players about to come your way potentially. Gets one. Oh, PKL. Never mind. Cello's able to go and work onto Shazam. This round is messy. This is all over the place. And oh no, Cello's out of ammo. You have to feel bad for him. He physically can't defend himself, Jason, and they still just shut him down.
At least gonna get a plant out of this. 1 versus 3. Config is low. You can double that. Stanislaw and Cajun coming from this direction, waiting for Config. He's 2 kits on the board. He can't take a single bullet. 7 HP. Not a lot to play with. Gotta hope for some kind of a lineup, some kind of a double. Once he makes a noise, though, and he gives himself away, they're going to check this Stanislaw. Jumping. Doesn't even have to be on the ground to land the shot. So 12th for OpTic. Plant's going to help out in the 4th round for Luminosity. But obviously not getting exactly what they wanted. That battle between Cello and Shazam early on in this round is like the great horror movie in Counter-Strike for the year. Just constant hunt. Just like no quarter given, no space. It's just never ending. All the way back to the bomb site.
Well, it's a good old-fashioned deco. Feels like it's been a while since I've seen one of these. It's not, actually. Cello is kind of letting me down. But, Yell's Deagle's going to be able to find one, maybe a little bit more. He spots out the players pushing down Banana. This is scary, though. OpTic seem pretty confident. They're not slowing down, even though they know there's Deagles up. They're hunting down these frags, and maybe they'll come to regret it. Maybe they won't. They won't. Shazam just going to go ahead and make some money there at the very end. 13-5, and now the buy comes in for Luminosity. This is it. This is the last chance. The final stand. The only bastion of hope that they have.
This can't be real. Is Config keeping his CZ?
I mean, they say it's strong, Jason.
This might be a bit too much, though, won't it? Good nade damage on the PKL neck is. Stanislaw is here. They gotta be careful. Yeah, that's Config. I mean, you gotta be more cautious than that. And well, PKL has single-handedly won the round. So, Cajun, Shazam, Gade, they've already given it up. They're just gonna stay over at A. Config is punished for his hubris. Even Shazam might get picked off here. This is a sneaky little position from Showtime.
Yeah, that's not really a kill that OpTic would have liked to have given away. So just Cajun being Gade left, trying to hold on to this. Luminosity going hunting. You can't imagine they want to throw too many players at this problem, because OpTic do have a buy in the next round regardless. I think as they go pushing on in, Gade's going to shut down one, KGB drops Showtime. And yeah, now that you can see Neckers doesn't want to go any further forward. They know where both the players are, but it just isn't worth throwing that much money away. Especially when you look at it now, they're actually be quite limited in terms of the utility on a few of these players. I think Cello's had to have been dropped an AK, or Yeah, it's not that bad then. Yeah, you got one thrown over. So actually, no, it's all good. They've got enough utility. Double ops that are being bought out for OpTic. Config has one of them. Shazam has the other. This is why we saw him go for the CZ buy in the previous round. This is the master plan. Let's see if it pays off.
Don't know why we're seeing so much wild aggression at this B bomb site. They're gonna miss a shot, gonna try and get away. Yell picks off Shazam, peeking down mid, and I don't know what OpTic is doing here. Peeks down mid when you know it's gonna be a full buy. Push down banana. Another round very early on, a minute and 20 seconds left in. You're playing 3-on-5. So how do you recover from this? I don't think you do. I think you just pull Cajun back towards the B bomb site and you say, let's hope they come here. He's actually committing though. This is an expensive weapon. This is something they would love to have in the next round. And yeah, he wisely chooses to just back away as that flashbang comes in. When blinded, your other senses get strong, and he came to his senses. Certainly there at the end.
See, the thing that's scaring me a bit now is maybe like OpTic perhaps feeling a bit too confident in this. You know, it feels like every round we've seen them go for some sort of aggressive peak that really they haven't had to. They're able to get another buy in this round if they save these 3 weapons. But that's becoming like a pretty big if. You can see there's a search party forming down in Banana. 3 players here, progressing on up. There's a smoke down. They know that OpTic are inside here. They've done their homework, they've done their research, they know this is where the 3 players are. They're going to start to make their way in, and you need to hold on to these 3 guns if you want to go for a buy into the next round. If you are OpTic, this is a pretty big moment, and already they've lost config. He's able to find one and a second, but then he falls as well, so Showtime mops him up, and just like that, with only Cajun B saving, they can't really justify going for a buy here.
No, they can't at all. Gade has a 6k, so they... Okay. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the worst buy, all things considered. I would have liked for them to preserve their lead and make sure their next buy is as strong as possible, but why not? If you can... This isn't the worst thing in the world, so can't argue with it too much. Much better than I thought it would be, to be quite honest. Fast pace. Yell wants to get aggressive, wants to find a pick, and just narrowly misses the opportunity to find Gade, who is no longer peeking. It's Shazam on the other side they have to worry about, and is Cello going to be able to pre-fire this quick enough? Shazam's a pretty fast opper, all things considered. Ooh, missed shot. Giving up the game as well. They know, actually, they knew the op was saved in the previous round, and now look, aggression towards Banana as Stanislaw Config once again creeping their way out. Neck is inside the smoke, might have to defend against this. They didn't like that pressure. He's just going to fall away.
Yeah, now regrouping over towards the top of mid. Config still staying aggressive down Banana, just jump peeking over the half wall. This is definitely netting OpTic a decent bit of information to work with. Maybe there's a time we see Stan actually start maybe to pull back from the B-bomb site. Shazam's going to have his work cut out for him over here in Library. Smoke going to rain in. That nullifies his position. Shazam just has to sit back and now hope that his teammates inside the site can get the job done. He's been locked out this round. Cajun B certainly answers the call, but he only gets one. Now it's Gade down in the pit. Opens up, and a second. Maybe going to make it 3. There's the hat trick. He does get burnt out, but it's just Yell back against the wall, fighting for his life, and Shazam will go ahead and swiftly shut him down. 14-7 OpTic. They managed to get around on the board. Now, for Luminosity, do they go for a buy here?
This is so good from Gade. It's so hard to have impact in this scenario, especially after that first kill. They know exactly where you are. You've got a Molotov on your position as well to keep your composure, and even find that 3rd kill is huge. That is an impressive round from Gade. A nice surprise. A nice surprise gift from the Danish scene, and PKL burning. He's backing up against the logs, and he's going for that double kill again. He's got 1. Finds Stanislaw, and he's going to continue forward. Config's only got a shotgun, so again, this aggression out towards Banana, it is actually yielding negative results at this point.
Yeah, most definitely is. And now, you know, you wonder when do they decide to change that, or is this just something we're just going to keep seeing? You know, it's a point where OpTic feel like they're you know, hemorrhaging players at this point over here. They've lost Stan early on. Config's now lying in wait with the shotgun. They've had to rotate Shazam off. So, you know, I mean, it's had now a knock-on effect over here towards A, as you would expect. The defense split thinly between these two sites. Question is now, where do Luminosity decide to go? I think, you know, if you are OpTic, you're hoping that they're heading towards that B-bomb site, I imagine. Maybe not now. Maybe definitely not now. As Shazam goes ahead and takes one for the team. Config's posted up here with the AWP, but he's been missing shots with this gun all evening. And he hasn't spotted Neckers. That is a disaster. He slipped in through CT. Gade once again has to go for a big hero play. And oh my goodness, he's going to do it. Finds himself 2. Config shuts down Neckers on the flank. And now Luminosity are going to keep pouring in towards this B-bomb site. Gade is very far away, so Config has to buy time. Gade starts his rotation. Down toward Banana he goes. Config has to win this, and he lands the shot on a PKL. Now it's just Yell left 5 seconds, and Config's done it. He's bought all the time in the world. Yell might find the kill, but OpTic find the round. 15-7. Now 1 away from winning this out.
Oh, that one hurts. What a play from Config, and those are the kinds of things that just a player of that caliber can have such huge impact in these ways. Gade, I mean, the real thing is the hold on the A bomb site for Gade, the double kill from him that tells Luminosity, nope, we want to go back towards B. That's a triple kill and a huge double kill inside the bomb. That was, what, a 2-on-4, I think it was at one point. Now Yell gonna fight in the fire. It's the only weapon. He's down to 36. That is not an ideal scenario for Luminosity, and they're on the verge of losing both maps. They're on the verge of making Harry's prediction incredibly wrong.
I mean, you can't brag about it if teams are doing it all the time, can you, Jason? Here's Shazam up close. So many players coming his way. It's a target-rich environment, but that's where he thrives. 2 big kills, and suddenly it's just Yell, 1v5. It looks like it might be all said and done here. Yell does manage to land the first onto Shazam. Oh, and a second onto Config, so maybe room with a shot. Misses the no-scope. Would have loved to have seen him land it, but it's not meant to be. OpTic, they win out this map. They're going to take the series 2-0.
Yes, very strong 2-0 as well. I mean, just great performance from OpTic, and then, I mean, even despite some blunders, you know, I talked about that aggression at Banana on this map was a little worrying. Some rounds on Train, they looked like to overextend, and even despite some of those mistakes, still showing enough to be able to overcome all those obstacles in their way. Climb the mountain, Trace.
All that adversity.
Yeah.
That's right. Climb the mountain.
Left it all out there on the server.
Climb to glory. Absolutely what we saw there. OpTic Gaming having taken this one, I'd say handedly. What would you say? Yeah. Gade showing up in a big way.
Great to see. I mean, we talked about him in the pregame, and he is this sort of like unknown factor for this team. I do feel like he's sort of like the catalyst behind this OpTic team. How good can it actually be? We know what Cajun stands for. We know what Config stands for. We know what Stanislaw and Shazam have done in their careers. The only unknown is Gade, and if he can perform at this, you know, more consistent as we talked about, I think OpTic can go a long way. At least, you know, making sure they qualify for tournaments and qualify for playoffs as they're about to do now in Pro League.
Well, how about we do this? Why don't we take a look at some of the numbers and see if they speak for themselves? I think that's going to be the play. My goodness, would you look at that? Luminosity versus OpTic.
Would you have thunk it?
I did thunk it. I did thunk it, and therefore it happened. Check this out. Gade coming in with an impressive 103 ADR here in what was a 16-7 showing from OpTic Gaming. Looking over at the Luminosity side, I mean, we could talk about OpTic and what they were doing right. Let's talk about Luminosity, what they could do better, and or what stuck out to you guys.
Again, it's much of the same as we saw being an issue on Train as well. It's unforced errors that is basically their doom. I guess the way they finally, you know, closed out the game, or if, you know, because I would actually put it that way. Luminosity closed out this game, more or less, more so than Config and Gade. Obviously, again, credit where credit is due. It requires a certain amount of skill to be able to actually, you know, converge on the mistakes that Luminosity makes, but they sure make it easy on players of that caliber as well. So when you see like 2v4s ending up in a situation like that where it's just a complete mess, they have no idea what's going on. Even if Config doesn't even get that last kill, you know, time's going to run out. It's done that much damage at that point. That can't happen if you're Luminosity. And that's just how easy it is. And it's the same kind of errors they made on Train as well. Just complete unforced.
You know what else can't happen?
Do tell.
Can you take, well, you probably can't guess, because sometimes I don't even know what's happening up here in my brain. But one thing that can't happen is Energy dropping more maps on their road to the playoffs. Let's take a look at today's results and see just how the matches unfolded. And you know what? We saw Renegades and Energy going toe-to-toe earlier. A little bit of overtime there on Inferno. 19-17 was going to be your final scoreline, and ultimately Renegades taking it 2-0. SK pretty handily,
Not so much overtime.
easily said. SK 16-4ing 2 maps in a row over Dignitas.
They got lucky.
Yeah, I'd say they got away with murder on that one. And then, if you look at it, 16-8 and 16-7 respectively there between OpTic and Luminosity to close out that day. Let's take a look at the standings. The playoff hunt is on. And very quickly, Halvor, walk me through what you see in front of you.
Well, Team Liquid and Energy don't really do anything about where they're sitting on the table. OpTic, though, is solidifying their 3rd spot. Same as Renegades as well with that win over Energy. Just, again, really securing that top 6 spot for now. Cloud9 obviously didn't see any action today. They're gonna sink a few spots, but that doesn't really matter. The big thing here, though, is that SK have climbed into the top 6. As Luminosity dropped, obviously the chances of picking up a couple of points, that allows for the Brazilians, well, I guess the main Brazilian squad to remain ahead.
And ahead of this would be tomorrow, because that's what comes after today's tomorrow. So let's take a look at those matches. Pimp, as quickly as you possibly can. Which one are you excited for?
I'm excited to see Splice versus Digno. I'm excited to see OpTic versus Energy. I think that's going to be the great game, especially after we saw today Energy struggling a little bit for the first time in a while now. We only had positive to say about them. OpTic, on the other hand, you know, showing great potential now in this game. Both teams are standing for each their own thing. Energy for consistency and great play. OpTic for great play and then bad play. So it's going to be interesting to see which OpTic is going to show up tomorrow. Yeah. Obviously, as well, Dignitas Splice is going to be one of those games where we see who is actually the worst team in Pro League.
But when you say it like that, it just rings a little bit of truth to it, doesn't it? Look, let's go ahead and look at EU. We had some Europeans play today, and as these numbers will tell, there was quite a bit of Counter-Strike that was played. At least let's take a look at the mainstream. Quite a pretty close showing there between Astralis, Space Soldiers, as well as Nip and Envious throughout the day. But other than that, I'd say partly cloudy with a chance of precipitation there on the mainstream. And then we can go ahead and flip now over to the standings. That's what it's all about. Tell me about the standings, boys.
That's what it's all about. You can see Astralis, again, just doing really well in the online stages of, you know, all kind of CS, really, these last few weeks. At the top, Space Soldiers following right behind after taking, well, 2 L's to the Danish boys. Mouse Sports splitting maps versus Navi. That's still going to keep them in the top 3. Nip, as you said, they've been showing good form. They're also in there. North, actually, somewhat surprising to me. Sitting in top 6 as of right now. Definitely not expected. A ousting phase for right now. And as we go further down, not too surprising to see 2 French teams in LDLT and Envy at the very bottom.
But Fnatic down there is seemingly a little out of place. They look like they had it all going together, you know, going into the later part of this season at least. Nonetheless, we could take a look at what's going on tomorrow here on match day number 17 in Europe. FaZe Fnatic kicking it off, followed by Navi and Astralis, and closing the day out with a little bit of Hellraisers and Space Soldiers, of course. Match day number 17 brought to you by an entirely different crew who are in their beds right now, snuggled up, probably next to one another, very comfortably said.
Definitely.
And with that, any closing words on the broadcast today, guys? You guys have anything for the viewer at home?
No, just happy to see SK play better CS. Obviously not the biggest challenge, but they definitely look to be on the right track. So happy to see where this takes us.
Happy to see Renegades showing up to be a
too,
great
yeah.
contender for Energy. I feel we have more great teams than ever before.
That's right. North America, your major champions.
Shut up.
It's true. It happened. Anyway, that does it for us here at the Xfinity Analyst Desk. We'll be back tomorrow, same great time, same great place. See ya.